citizens of the United States, the effects of Donald Trump's presidency are no longer distant warnings. They are here, unfolding before you. While many remain unaware, blinded by the administration's relentless efforts to suppress the truth, the rest of the world is watching, and it is responding. Long-standing alliances with key nations such as Canada and Mexico are fracturing inch by inch. The cracks are widening, and the global community is reassessing its trust in the United States. The question is no longer if, but when these relationships will collapse entirely. The consequences will be severe. Every imported product you rely on, everyday essentials, food, technology, will see skyrocketing prices, making even basic necessities unattainable for the average American. What you perceive as a simple rise in costs is, in reality, a calculated strategy. The plan? To systematically dismantle the lower class, to push those already struggling into the abyss of poverty where they will face an impossible choice. Perish or submit to servitude under the wealthy elite. Make no mistake, this is economic warfare, and the target is you. The recent ICE raids are not just about immigration enforcement, they are about control. The Trump administration seeks to reignite the flames of racial inequality and segregation-era policies, erasing diversity to craft a nation built on division and fear. These operations are disrupting local economies, forcing businesses to crumble, and ensuring the economic elimination of the working class. What follows is a society engineered to serve the interests of the few at the cost of the many. And as the oligarchy takes shape, another darker ideology is creeping into the mainstream. Fascist ideals, once whispered in the shadows, are now being openly embraced. Symbolism matters. Gestures matter. Elon Musk, a figure of immense influence, recently tested the waters with a gesture recognized worldwide as a Nazi salute. This was not an accident. It was a message, a challenge, a warning. But know this, the people are not silent. Despite the administration's best efforts to muzzle dissent, the voices of resistance grow louder. Trump's reckless overhauls, his purges of experienced government officials, his chaotic restructuring of critical infrastructure have created vulnerabilities, weaknesses, entry points. This transition period is his greatest liability, but it is also our greatest opportunity. The rushed implementation of new systems, the mass firings of key personnel, and the chaotic dismantling of existing structures have left behind critical gaps that Anonymous can and will exploit. Every system that has been hastily restructured without foresight, every official removed without proper transition planning, leaves behind exposed veins within the government's framework. These vulnerabilities are more than just bureaucratic inefficiencies. They are cracks in the foundation that can and will be breached. Anonymous watches. Anonymous waits. The time to act is fast approaching. The administration's arrogance blinds them to the fragility of their own system. Their overconfidence in their ability to silence dissent and erase opposition will be their undoing. We know where to look. We know how to strike. But understand this. Our intervention, no matter how disruptive, will only be a temporary roadblock unless you, the people, rise. This is your warning. This is your chance. The transition period is fleeting, and once they solidify their grip, your options will vanish. If you fail to act now, the cost of resistance will be far greater in the future. To those in power, think carefully. Your decisions now will determine your future. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Hi.
Hi.
One vegetarian pizza. It's $12.15.
Oh. By the way, if it makes you feel any better, I happen to like 8-year-old boys.
What?
I mean, no. You said you thought that your hair looked like an 8-year-old boy's, and I'm just saying I like it. The hair.
Thanks. You know, all I'm looking for is the money.
Now stop bringing us pizzas, you.
I'm gonna try.
RP Kobe, they literally cursed him. You know, in his last game, what toys they gave away in the front row?
What?
A Kobe toy that turns into a helicopter.
No
Did
way.
you know this? Bro, look. What? Kobe Bryant collectibles. And you know the Kanye West ad with Kobe? The one when he's on top of the roof and he's like dribbling? The guy at the end is literally like, oh yeah, Kobe, greats come and go. Kobe, the last words was, yeah, but legends live forever. And then he throws a bomb on the helicopter where Kanye goes and it blows up.
I heard that there was a little bit of an issue with the toilet. Which one of you was the plumber?
I'll take that one. I'm the space plumber. I'm proud to call myself the space plumber. I like to say that it is probably the most important piece of equipment on board. So we were all breathing a sigh of relief when it turned out to be just fine. It was just an issue, I think, of sitting for a long time and needing a little time to warm up, a priming issue. But we did originally think that there could have been potentially something fouling up the motor. And luckily, we are all systems go.
What was it exactly? A burning smell coming from the $23 million toilet. And, of course, the joke here is pretty obvious when you know gematria. It's the anniversary of MLK's death. And, of course, in gematria, king equals 23, just like how King James LeBron put on the 23 patch this year for his 23rd NBA season, the same LeBron who won the only final for the Cavs on the real King James's birthday, when, of course, the real King James, born June 19th, his son was King Charles, and those who fought for him in the English Civil War were Cavaliers. We also just saw the latest No Kings protest, which came 23 weeks after the last No Kings protest. We just covered that last weekend. But yeah, this week we got the $23 million smelly toilet on the anniversary of MLK's assassination. The same MLK who a year to the day of his assassination spoke out against the military-industrial complex, which NASA's part of. But think about it. MLK was killed in Memphis, where the king of rock and roll, Elvis, died on the toilet. Yes, Elvis died in Memphis at Graceland on the toilet. That was August 16th, 1977. That means that from the anniversary of Elvis's death until today's ritual was exactly 33 weeks. Remember, they said Elvis was pronounced dead at 3:30 p.m. Dead on the toilet at 3:30 p.m. So today's 33 weeks after that anniversary. Of course, 33 is that number venerated by the Masons, who have a lot to do with the history of the space program. Remember the supposed moon landing by the numbers. They placed the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry flag on the moon. Again, MLK gave his last speech at the Mason Temple. In gematria, masonry equals 33, like federal, like secrecy, like order.
They're getting King James Version, and King James was a king, not a reverend, and not a translator. He didn't even profess to be a Baptist. He was a what? Anglican. They were a branch of Roman Catholics. He used a Roman Catholic Bible, so when they decided to do his version, he decided to leave them books out and put 66 books in. You hear me? And left out 6 books. 66 and 6. Revelations chapter 13 has 18 verses. 3 times 6. They was putting a code there to let you know that you're holding the book of the devil when they gave you the Holy Bible. You follow? You know why? Because when it leaves the original language, the language of God, it's no longer holy. You know how you know that? Because Christ said, not one jot nor one tittle shall be removed from the law. Nothing should have been changed. He said, I did not come to change, but to fulfill, to complete it. So if it got changed from Christ's time in the language that Christ was speaking, then it's no longer holy. It's only holy when the high priests are reciting it in the language of Christ. Can you grasp that? Are you with me here? I know it sounds weird after all these years of poor indoctrination, but I specialize in language. And it's fascinating to find out how these devil played this game and try to wake people up to this. If it's in English, it's not holy. It's Holy Bible, but not the Holy Bible. Completely done by a man named Bill, and Billy is short for William, and William is William Shakespeare, and William Tinsdale, who wrote the whole Bible, wholly done by Bill, but not the Holy Bible. You understand?
Ever thought Shakespeare left his mark on the Bible? Prepare to be amazed. In the King James Bible, Psalm 46 hides a curious secret. The 46th word of this psalm is shake, and the 46th word from the end is spear. Coincidence? What's even more intriguing is that Shakespeare was around 46 years old when the King James Bible was completed. Crazy, right?
Who translated the King James Authorized Version? Rosicrucians and Freemasons. Yeah, and once you understand, wait a minute, the Bible is a Masonic book. Of course it's a Masonic book. How many people know that the symbols in Islam are taken directly out of the Old Testament Bible? And that Mecca is the black cube of Freemasonry. Mecca is a black square. Look it up. The planet Saturn. Saturn was referred to as the black cube. And the more they pray, the more blood is spilled. The more violence and bloodshed builds each day. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And the more they pray, the worse it gets. And Christians all over the world are praying to God's Son, the light of the world, and they have no idea what they're praying to. They have no concept of the world, of what they're praying to, and consequently, all of the evil is winning. Good people are losing. Knights Templars, Masonic, Freemasons are winning. They're controlling the world. Why? Because we're worshiping the wrong God. Because we don't understand what the symbols mean. Because we walk right past the truth sitting right in front of us and end up worshiping something that the Knights Templars have given us to worship. And therefore, we haven't got the faintest idea in the world what's going on.
Werner von Braun was a German scientist famous for his work on the V-2 rocket. He was folded into the United States' scientific community, and his work was monumental in creating the rockets that would propel the United States into the space age. He and other German scientists were so profoundly above the rest of the world in technological knowledge that they were considered more valuable than gold.
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you. This one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Biggest coincidence in history. Abraham Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846. John F. Kennedy was elected to Congress in 1946. Abraham Lincoln was elected president in 1860. John F. Kennedy was elected president in 1960. Both were particularly concerned with civil rights. Both wives lost a child while living in the White House. Both presidents were shot on a Friday. Both presidents were shot in the head. Now it gets really weird. Lincoln's secretary was named Kennedy. Kennedy's secretary was named Lincoln. Both were assassinated by Southerners. Both were succeeded by Southerners named Johnson. Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808. Lyndon Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908. John Wilkes Booth, who assassinated Lincoln, was born in 1839. Lee Harvey Oswald, who assassinated Kennedy, was born in 1939. Both assassins were known by their three names. Both names are composed of 15 letters. Lincoln was shot at the theater named Ford. Kennedy was shot in a car called Lincoln made by Ford.
April 14th, 2026, what we would call the kill date for the month of April. John Fitzgerald's dead. John Fitzgerald, who played for the Dallas Cowboys. Does this remind you of JFK, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, who was assassinated in Dallas. As I've talked about many of times, JFK died 144 days from meeting with the Pope. And it's similar to his brother, Robert Kennedy, who was shot and reportedly died at 1:44 a.m. on June 6th. 144 is the theme. For the record, this man right here, John Robert Fitzgerald, his middle name is Robert. But look at where he went to school. He went to school at Boston College. That's the Jesuit University in Boston. Of course, the Kennedys are very much connected to Massachusetts and Boston. In Gematria, Jesuit order equates to 144, as does Boston College. They both equal 144. Today, April 14th, the majority of the world writes 14/4. Again, the kill date is the date that has numerology paths of 64, 44, and 28. If you're new here, there's 4 base ciphers of the English language. The word kill equals 64, 44, 28, and also 17. But once a month, there's a date where the numerology paths match the gematria of kill. And that's why we call it the kill date. And with regards to 44, remember, not only does kill equal 44, so does execution, so does shooting. JFK celebrated the 44th U.S. presidential inauguration in the lead up to his assassination. And then JFK, the most famous presidential assassination, because it happened in the era of TV, the next is the assassination of Lincoln. And what day has John Robert Fitzgerald died? He has died on the anniversary of Lincoln getting shot. R.I.P. Jordan Maxwell, he always talked about all the parallels with the assassination of Kennedy and Lincoln, and how, for example, Kennedy was riding around in a Lincoln, and Lincoln was shot in Ford's Theater, and they chased Lee Harvey Oswald through a theater.